Pink Floyd's iconic floating concert in Venice that forced the city council to resign, 1989. In 1969, the Selective Service held a draft lottery to determine the order in which American men would be called to serve in the Vietnam War. German soldiers fooling around with a kitten. A downed American plane, Vietnam, 1968. On a dust-strewn street, a man picks up and begins to read a piece of paper blown out of the World Trade Center in the aftermath of the deadly 9/11 terror attacks. Carrie Fisher feeds Meryl Streep chocolate cake, 1991. Children playing in bomb rubble in Liverpool, 1960s. A group of women from the Maharaja's harem, India, 19th century. (1933) Hairdressing salon in Moscow, Russia. Here ready for perming, 1920s. Australian troops rolling oil barrels away from fire caused by direct hits from Japanese bomber planes during a raid on an Allied oil reserves. World War II. A couple sharing a smoke in 1954, photo by Yale Joel. British officer reading a newspaper while being fanned with a palm frond and getting a pedicure from one of his servants in India, late 1800s. A rickshaw pulls a family of white colonists, 1911. Bicycle for a family with a child, France, 1910s. A woman has a line drawn onto her calf to make it look like she's wearing pantyhose in 1926. The practice was common when money was scarce and women could not buy or find stockings. A steam locomotive is transported across the Rio Grande River via a cable in New Mexico, United States. 1915. (1940s) Mermaid show at Weeki Wachee Springs State Park, Spring Hill, Florida. Stunt. A biplane pulls a woman on a sleigh. Washington, February 1922. A woman protesting wealth inequality in North Carolina, circa 1930s. Women and children, some of over 40,000 concentration camp inmates liberated by the British, suffering from typhus, starvation, and dysentery, huddled together in a barrack at Bergen-Belsen, Germany, in April 1945. Students skiing in Tomsk, Russian SSR, April 9, 1936. A lady in waiting in rich clothing, India, 19th century. George Gillette, the chairman of the Fort Berthold Indian Tribal Council, crying on May 20th, 1948, as he signed away 155,000 acres of fertile land for the Garrison Dam in North Dakota. Dog dressed up for a tea party, October 1934. The massive British steamship Britannic, the Titanic's sister ship, launches in Belfast Harbor. The ship sank 2 years later after hitting a German minefield in the Mediterranean Sea. 1914. The Cultural Revolution in China, 1960s. Criticism of the party leadership. Clint Eastwood posing for a photograph impersonating a painting of a man at the Sahara Health Club in Las Vegas on the 17th September 1964. Women paint propaganda posters, Port Washington, New York, July 8, 1942. Dusty dress, Kalispell C, 1900s. Unknown French girl dressed in SS uniform of her German boyfriend, occupied France, 1940s. Young Johnny Depp, 20 years old, 1983. Hans Käsemann Midget Troupe, photographed in the 1920s. The German pianist and his performers were one of vaudeville's biggest draws. Kids in Berlin turned bombed-out streets and destroyed tanks into their playground after World War II, 1945. The concept car is shown at the Autorama in Detroit, Michigan, United States, January 10, 1964. The Miami Hurricane of 1926. Soviet soldiers distribute food to Berlin residents, April 1945. Installation of a star on the spire of a high-rise building on Kotelnicheskaya embankment, Moscow, 1951. Figure skaters take a break from rehearsals for the Icecapades ice show in October 1949. Union Depot Railroad Company's powerhouse. In photographic views of the Great Cyclone at St. Louis, May 27, 1896. The United States landing ship LSM-20 sinks in the Surigao Strait, 1944. Elvis Presley playing acoustic guitar for fellow soldiers in a military barrack near the end of his service in Bad Nauheim, Germany, March 1960. Meatloaf performing live in 1978. Whitney Houston's first career audition was for CBS Records in 1982 at 18 years old. Then-President Al Teller passed on signing Houston, citing immaturity. Florida Fun, 1957, Leisure in the Sunshine State. A criminal is confined in a special device as punishment. China, 19th century. An Inuit woman from Nunivak Island in the Bering Sea. She has an interesting triple piercing and a hooded jacket made from the intestines of sea creatures. During World War II, children were evacuated from London to various parts of the United Kingdom. This is a joyous photo, some of them returning home to their parents. Circa 1945. Wisconsin Walleye War 1987-1991. Protests and conflict erupted in Wisconsin among sports fishermen and resort owners who were opposed to tribal members spearfishing walleye during spawning season. A citizen climbing a pole to lower the red flag flying over the Brandenburg Gate during the 1953 East German uprising. Palestinian women and children from Tantura being marched towards Jordan after the conquest by the Alexandroni Brigade, 1948. Students buying and selling used textbooks in Turin, Italy in 1969. Tony Curtis, Rock Hudson, and Robert Wagner, 1955. Louis Firetail, Sioux Crow Creek, wearing tribal clothing in American History class, Hampton Institute, Hampton, Virginia, 1900. Aerial view from a United States Navy Martin PBM Mariner of Crossroads Baker atomic test, less than 1 second after detonation. USS Saratoga can be seen in the center, IJN Nagato on the opposite side of the blast. 25 of July 1946. When it hit Florida, Hurricane Andrew had winds strong enough to blow this sailboat ashore. 1992. Portrait of Vance, a trapper boy, 15 years old, 1908. He has trapped for several years, 75 cents a day for 10 hours work. All he does is to open and shut this door. The interior of the Reichstag building after Germany's defeat in the war. The walls and columns bear the mementos of Soviet soldiers, 1945. A bride and groom, flanked by their best man and maid of honor, all stand on roller skates during a wedding ceremony in Chicago, 1951. Burlington Northern Railroad Bridge in November 1995 flood. BTS photo from the making of TMNT2, The Secret of the Ooze, released in 1991. Victorian couple with dapper dog circa 1900. Young pilot gets a shower from the water hose at a mobile station in Detroit, 1940. The radiation burns of a Hiroshima survivor. Mother and child, Canada, late 19th century. Michael Jackson and LaToya Jackson in New York City, 1977. The two shared an apartment in Manhattan at the time. The beautiful Celine Dion attending the Grammys for the first time at 25 years old in 1994. Red Army soldiers deliver ammunition to the front lines by dog sled. Karelian Front, 1943. A young geisha, 1900s. Photo from the Titanic movie set. Flood in Moscow, late 19th century. French soldier displaying a large portrait of Adolf Hitler hanging from the barrel of his tank, 1944. Gas mask parade, Tokyo, 1936. (1971). Elton John sharing a laugh with his mother, Sheila, and stepfather, Fred Fairbrother, in their apartment. Seesaw, Seoul, Korea, 1931. Little girl stares towards the hands of a woman preparing the polio vaccine, 1955. Mohawk warrior attacks Canadian soldiers during Oka Crisis, July to September 1990, which began when the Canadian government approved the seizure of Mohawk land for a private golf course. January 1991, San Francisco police officers pepper spray demonstrators against the United States invasion of Iraq during the Gulf War. Demonstration against the Vietnam War, United States, 1970. The use of flamethrowers during World War I. designer Kansai Yamamoto and David Bowie, 1970s. Woman working with gigantic shell in the National Shell Filling Factory No. 6 in Chilwell, Nottinghamshire, United Kingdom, 1917. A little girl shakes the hand of a United States soldier in Villedieu-les-Poêles, Normandy, 1944. Hyperinflation in Germany in 1923. Money became the cheapest material for heating rooms and lighting kitchen stoves. Kitty Ely class of 1887 left, and Helen Emery class of 1889, Mount Holyoke students. Arnold Schwarzenegger, 1975. Cultural Revolution in China, 1960s. Secretaries of the Harbin City Communist Party Committee at a criticism session at the Harbin Workers' Club. Aeroslee Ducks by Yuli Alexandrovich Meller. Cyndi Lauper at the 1988 MTV Awards. Diana Ross with her young protege, Michael Jackson, whose career she helped build. 1970. German soldiers fooling around. 1939. Alternative fashion in Russia in 1990s. Model Sveta Tagan, 1996. The Mildred, shipwrecked on the rocks around Gurnard's Head, Cornwall, 1912, on a journey from Newport to London carrying slag. Soldiers facing each other on street sidewalk. The state militia was called in on the south side of Chicago during the 1919 race riots. The Great Rally of People, Ashura Day, Iran, 1978. Brits celebrating Christmas in a deep-level bomb shelter in London, 1940. UK Prime Minister Harold Wilson and the Beatles, 1964. An elderly gymnast, United States, 1977. Ski joring with horses in Norway, 1900s. Dora Ratchen, a German high jumper at the 1936 Olympics, was later revealed to have been born male but raised as female. Always believing he was male, Dora changed his name to Heinrich. Bride with Flower Veil, Bulgaria, early 20th century. "16-year-old Annette Funicello, Bicycle Queen, 1959. This was a clever way to transition Annette from the Mickey Mouse era to a successful film and singing career. The same year she had a hit single, Tall Paul. Street Acrobats in New York, 1931. A French woman pouring cider for a British Bren gunner in Lisieux, France. August 1944. President Jimmy Carter enjoying some muddy waters at a White House picnic in 1978. A Doll with Two Faces, 1920. Gypsy Rose Lee, Wright, posing with fellow burlesque dancers, a Rolls-Royce and a Curves Ahead sign, circa 1957. Best friends since World War II. Elizabeth Taylor in a promo still for Richard Brooks's Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, 1958. Punishment, China, 19th century. Hiroshima after the nuclear attack. This patient, photographed by Japanese troops on October 2, 1945, was approximately 6,500 feet from the blast's epicenter when the beams struck him from the left. Buona Devil screening in 3D at the Paramount Theater, 1952. A man posed for a portrait with one of the mummified bodies displayed in the cemetery chapel of St. Michael on the grounds of the Cathedral of St. Andrew the Apostle in Venzone, Italy, September 1950. Ringo Starr being goofy, 1960s. Children's Playground in the United Kingdom, 1922. Actor Kyle MacLachlan gets a piggyback ride from Dune author Frank Herbert, 1984. Group of anti-suffragette men tear up the banner of one, White House, Washington, D.C., 1917. Known endearingly as space-age uniforms, exotic smocks with space helmets and boots were unveiled by Braniff International Airlines for its flight attendants in the mid-1960s. A Maori portrait photograph, mid-19th century. Rita Hayworth, 1940s. Grace Gilbert, 1876–1924, was a famous American sideshow performer. She was born with a form of hirsutism, which caused her to grow a beard, and was one of the most recognized bearded ladies of her time. January 23, 1925. Washington, D.C. Broadway producer Earl Carroll picking beauties to play in 1925. Vanity's Review. (1989) Student protests in Tiananmen Square. Protesters hold a photograph of Mikhail Gorbachev, president of the USSR. With images and reports of the brutality in Vietnam making their way back to the United States, many Americans turned against the war and took to the streets to protest.